It's Uvalde Radio. It's Robert Miguel here with you, your concert station. You heard some Michael Ray right there, and the one that got away. And don't forget, in concert, Michael Ray, Carly Pearce, February 8th. It's going to be an early show, 1 p.m. at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo at the AT&T Center. And as luck would have it, with me on the phone, the one and only Mr. Michael Ray.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, wow. It's so cool to talk to you, man.
How you been, my man?
I'm really, really good. So we're excited to have you, you and the wife, the missus. Kind of follow you guys, and I don't want to say the tabloids, but since you and Carly are together, you guys are kind of like the big, Nashville couple, the new Tim and Faith, right?
Yeah, man. It's funny. We obviously grew up looking up to them too, and to hear kind of our names in the same category with them. We're just taking a lot of notes from them. You know what I mean? We're in the beginning stages, so we're riding it out and learning from them.
Well, tell me this: a lot of celebrity couples, and just the backstory. Just Michael Ray, big country singer; Carly Pearce, big country singer. Recently, you guys got engaged, and then more recently wed. And so, first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I had a kind of a question. A lot of times, you celebrity couples, they get those kind of portmanteau nicknames, like Brangelina. Have you guys worked one out yet?
we haven't yet. Some fans of Carly's, they run a fan page, and they came up with a couple. I think Carkle was one of them, which I don't really know if that classifies as a word, but
hey, what about Carmichael?
They gave us that one, so I guess we'll roll with that one.
I'm going to go for Carmichael because it's actually a name.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I thought too. But.
All right, good on you, man. So so again, man, but we're excited about your show coming up at San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Now, have either of you guys ever played the San Antonio Rodeo?
We have not. I have not. I don't think she has either. Both been fortunate to play in San Antonio, and I love San Antonio. The whole city is just such a great place, and it's so vibrant, man. It's going to be awesome, and to be able to play it. Something like the San Antonio Rodeo is such a massive deal, and such a big part of Texas, and big part of San Antonio, big part of country music. For us to have our names tied with everybody else during that week is really awesome.
Now, whenever you play big rodeo shows, do you stick around, watch some of the rodeo thing? Do you hang out, go out to the? Because a lot of times there's going to be like the rides, carnival atmosphere. Do you guys take advantage of it to get out and have some fun, or do you pretty much do the show, get back on the plane, and get to the next gig?
No, man. No, I'm trying to actually squeeze in some hunting in the morning, and then I'm going to stay watch the rodeo. Man, I grew up loving watching rodeos, and now I feel very fortunate. We have a little bit of a VIP pass to kind of stand back there with the bulls on and the cowboys and watch them do their thing, and it's pretty inspiring, man. I think rodeo and music go hand in hand so much. It's just so passionate, and you put it all on the line for the hopes of getting. For us, number one, for them getting that buckle and getting to the next rodeo. So I think stuff that the lifestyles really go hand in hand, and I just got a lot of respect for those men and women that rodeo and put it on the line for their passion. And I'm excited to be, like I said, be a part of it, but also to witness it and to kind of take some of their energy back to Nashville. We're in the middle of making this third record, so kind of take some of the stuff I'm going to take away from that atmosphere and bring it to the album.
Now, you brought up you're working on a new record. You've already got a couple of hit records behind you. You got a hot new single on the air right now. Let's go ahead and talk about you musically, your history. From what I understand, you kind of hooked up with the Big and Rich guys at some point. You did, and I did not know this, but you were on one of those singing television kind of contest shows. Give us, for those who just don't know your backstory, give us the quick bio.
Yeah, man. I mean, real quick, I grew up in a small town in Florida. Grew up on a lot of traditional country music. Grew up in my family's band. Played with my grandfather's band since I was 9. That would lead to me playing bars and lead to me, getting discovered for this TV show. That was kind of just out of nowhere. God's his thing, man. It was like they hit me up, and I agreed to do it. We did one season. I ended up winning the season. The show went away, and then I ended up signing a record deal with Warner Brothers. After that, and so it was just a lot of stages before that show. I moved to Nashville, lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 6 other people, and toured the United States in a van for 8 years, just trying to make it all happen. And so that was a good little thing that helped me speed by a couple rings in the ladder to end up getting the attention of Warner Brothers and getting a record deal. So grateful for it, man. It was a weird little turn of events where it all happened, but that's kind of the cool thing about Nashville. Is everybody comes to town for the same dream, but they get here all different ways. So that was my path to here, man. It's just been an incredible journey and a cool whirlwind, man, of just growing up in a family that had musical aspirations and dreams and a band, and to be the one member of the family that moved away from the town, and because of them and the fan base that I had down there, and everybody believing in me when I was a kid, and in high school playing bars, it all kind of gave me the encouragement to make the move and made the decisions that thankfully led me to where I am. So.
I mean, now your hit record called Amos, I did not know this, but it's actually named after your grandpa, right?
Yeah, man. So Amos, my grandfather, he was the one that played in. My family had a band. It was my dad, my grandfather, my cousins, and my uncle. When I came along, I was my dad's only son, but I was the only grandson at the time. And my grandfather and I, just put a guitar in my hand when I was a kid and threw me on stage with him when they had their band. And I just continued to play with him. Started learning guitar when I was like 9, and just played with him every weekend, and really just consumed country music. It was just kind of like my outlet. My parents were getting divorced at the time. A lot of crazy stuff was going on back home, and just kind of my outlet, man, and my connection with him. And I thought in this record, I think every record as an artist, you evolve and you start finding your sound, you start finding your place. And every record, you should be able to look back and see the growth from the last record and this record. And so I definitely see the growth between my debut album and Amos, and I already know I'm seeing the growth between the third one and Amos. But Amos, I wanted to really put my flag in the ground and really let people know where it all started for me, and I wouldn't be on this journey if it wasn't for him years ago planting the seed of love of country music in our family and passing that love down. So I wanted people to know where it all started for me, and that was him.
Well, man, that's really encouraging to hear. I know you're a younger artist, but I think it's fantastic to hear from younger people. We're living in a society, I believe, right now where a lot of the younger generations don't, respect the elder statesmen. You know what I mean? They're either okay boomer kind of mentality. It's just it's so refreshing to hear that kind of love and respect. For someone who brought you up, man. So very, very cool. So as far as the new material, where's that headed?
Man, we're we've cut 2 sides. I'm actually working on the record, or writing a lot this month, which is why I haven't been on the road at all this month. Just want to really take the time to really focus. That third album is really important. Every album's important, but that third album, man, if you look back in the history of artists that I looked up to, man, that third record was really a monumental time for in your career. And so it's really taking the right amount of time to really focus on the sound of what we want to do. I feel like in the last 2 albums, I really haven't nailed a couple things I wanted to nail, which is, I grew up on such traditional country, and I really want that root to shine. In this next record, I wanted to veer more country and what I grew up on, and pay homage to the men and women that paved the way and who inspired me to pick up a guitar, outside of Amos, my grandfather, but those men and women that paved the way for us to be where we're at. So I think you're going to hear you're going to hear my story more. You're going to hear where I've been in the last couple of years, personally and professionally. Obviously, a lot personally has gone on, and it's a big journey. Honestly, it's going to be a whole lot more vulnerable on my side than the first 2, and hopefully. In the middle of this month, we really feel like we're nailing down that sound that hopefully people will hear that more country roots in this next album.
Well, I was going to say, man, I mean, you mentioned that you're firmly rooted in traditional country, and we all know that Nashville, I don't want to say it's getting less and less country, but you know what I'm saying. It's definitely evolved, and some would argue, that it's not necessarily a great change. What do you personally do with you and your team? How do you attack that? What's your philosophy on how mainstream country to go versus traditional?
Yeah, I think that it's always going to be that conversation of country or not. And for me, I think that there is something. I do agree that I wish that one thing our genre would do better is honor the men and women that paved the way for us to get where we're at while they're still here, and they can appreciate and really see the magnitude of what they've done. And what their sacrifice has done, leaving their hometowns, leaving their family, putting it all on the line, 100-some dates a year to inspire men and women to move from their hometowns later on and pick up a guitar and move to Nashville. So I think there is that line. I get things involved. 80s was different than the 70s, 90s, and the 80s. Yeah, will be different than the 2000s. But I do think that there is a line that we can preserve and really hold on to those roots. I think growth is great, but I think growth while losing the foundation is not. And so I think that we need to growth is great, but we need to remember the foundation and keep that whole.
Well, very good, man. Sounds like it's going to be a great record. You got any kind of ETA for the newest album?
It will be this year. We have new music out. No EP on the actual album yet, but there'll be new music here in the next few months. So.
Well, right on. Again, we're talking to Michael Ray. He's going to be in concert at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. The show date is going to be February 8th, along with Carly Pearce. It's going to be a 1 p.m. show at the AT&T Center. Get your tickets at sarodeo.com or listen to Uvalde Radio for a chance to win. Now, I got to ask you about the show with Carly. That's got to be kind of cool. Is it going to be? So, how is that formatically going to play out?
I have to really be better. You know what I mean? Because she's so great. And then when we do shows together, I'm like, well, crap. Now I got to really turn it up. No, it's going to be fun, man. We always look forward to doing shows together. We don't get to do a lot of them, and the fact that we're doing this show right before her world gets real crazy and releasing her album, I believe, the following week. We got some plans in how to intertwine our show and maybe surprise the crowd with a song or two. So.
Well, now, you guys are obviously your newlyweds for the most part, and so that's got to be exciting getting out of the road, with your brand new bride. However, that work relationship, after a while, it's like, oh, come on, you got to get an out from the ball and chain, so to speak. Well, what's that like? Again, like I said, I know you're newlyweds, but what's that like? When you're on the road, I don't know how many shows you've actually done, but what's that like, married life? Doing some big concerts.
Man, we have about 130 shows a year by the end of the year, and she's doing the same. So, you just got to be very cautious about your communication, and definitely be more mindful about realizing that you have been gone for a week. And before Carly, if I was gone for a week from home, I was just gone, and I tried to stay gone as long as I could, but things are really different, and so both of us just try to keep that cautious mindset of, okay, keep each other in the loop, and then when we do get to do shows together, really take an opportunity to enjoy the day and enjoy the crowd and in the city. Man, one of my favorite things to do is be able just to roam around the city, and especially like San Antonio. I've been there quite a few times, and once you start kind of getting a lay of the land, just go explore and just really get the whole vibe of the town before you get to step up and connect with the audience. So
tell me this. How did you meet Carly? I don't know if I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, how did you guys meet?
I actually met her. Nashville, surprisingly, is a pretty tight community, and so about 5 or 6 years ago, we were in a group hang, and I met her then. And then years obviously go by, and she started hitting me up in my direct messages on Instagram every time I post something. And I was like, to a point where I was like, man, I went to my band, and I was like, guys, I don't know how to read into this, man. Like, I don't know how to be like, because it's not like I'm not going to see her again. Right. So if I assume something and it's just her being nice, I'm gonna look like an idiot. So we just kept talking, and finally set up a time to hang out and talk music. And we both had to bust out that night that we hung out. And we ended up hanging out for like 6 hours and went to a bar, had some drinks, and she bust out and I bust out. And been together ever since, man. So. It was the new age of meeting somebody, I guess, is sliding into the DMs. So,
well, nice. Anyway, it's kind of cool that she pursued you, huh? Nice.
Yeah. I wish I had more of the control in that situation, but no, man, she pursued me, and I'm grateful for it. So.
Right on. Well, hey, one last question. I know you're a busy guy. Valentine's Day is fast approaching. You got a brand new wife. You're going to be probably, on the road or near. What's the big Valentine's plans for you and Carly?
Man, she's made it hard on a fellow this year, man. Her album comes out on the 14th, so
wow.
I got some pre-ordered stuff set up, but I think she's going to be on the road, doing all the promotion and stuff. So our Valentine's Day celebration might be a couple days beforehand or a couple days after, but I got some stuff planned out whenever she gets back in town, and we're gonna take a couple days off at the end of the month just to celebrate the big month for her and her releasing this album, her second album, and obviously her massive hit on the radio. I Hope You're Happy Now, and it's gonna be a big month. So I don't know if we'll fall exactly on Valentine's Day, but I got some pre-ordered stuff ready to be sent. I try to think ahead a little bit.
Well, man, it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulder, and you're gonna do it right. So very cool. Again, we've been talking to Michael Ray. The big show is coming up on Saturday, February 8th, 1 p.m., along with his wife, Carly Pearce, at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo AT&T Center. You can buy tickets at sarodeo.com. Michael, man, it's been really cool getting to know you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us. We're gonna play your latest single. It's called Her World or Mine. You want to give us a little quick insight onto your new single here?
Yeah, man, Her World or Mine is a song about a time in my life when I was kind of trying to figure things out. I think we've all been there, on whether it's the world of having to move on, or the world of having to be left to the side, picking up the pieces of something you never thought was going to break. So it's one of the reasons I fell in love with country music. It's an honest lyric, and I love this song. Thank y'all for playing it. This is my single, Her World or Mine.
Well, right on again. Michael Ray, go see him at the San Antonio Rodeo. This is Uvalde Radio, your concert station. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Robert.